you for being here today as we remember Aimee Thornton and join our hearts together to offer comfort and strength to her family and her close friends. I'm Rabbi Molly, grateful to be here with Cantor Circumpool and Rabbi Morel today. Right now, we are in the part of the Torah where we read about Joseph. And Joseph was someone who was separated from his family and was serving the Pharaoh in Egypt. And according to one rabbinic commentary, there was a time when Joseph was struggling so much, and he was imprisoned, and he was ready to just give up and give in to his struggles. And the rabbinic commentary talks about how he had this vision. He saw an image of his father Jacob. Even though he hadn't seen his father for many, many years since he was a kid, this image came to him suddenly of his father. And the rabbis say that that image gave him the strength that he needed to sort of renew him and to help him keep going in that difficult time. And this commentary, our sages are trying to teach us about the power of images of people that are important to us. Many of you in this room have known Aimee for a long, long time and knew her through different stages of her life. And when Ben and I were talking the other day, I was remarking how amazing it is that Aimee hasn't been able to be present physically in this building for quite a while, and yet the way people were talking about her, she is very dedicated to our Torah study group, and her presence is so felt that people talk about her as if she's been here certainly more recently, and she certainly made an impression on people. I only came back home to Temple B'nai Torah in 2020, and it wasn't until some of the COVID restrictions were lifted at Klein Gallen that I was able to start visiting her. And this, of course, was when her health began to decline even more. And she always seemed comfortable enough, and she always greeted me with a big smile. But it was clear that she often still felt worried about something or often felt frustrated. One thing that I quickly learned was that she had no problem telling me exactly how she felt and what was on her mind. And what I noticed is that most of her frustration came from a place of wanting to connect, of feeling lonely. She would feel frustrated that she couldn't get her phone to work, or that she really wanted to create more of a Jewish presence and felt perhaps frustrated with the other Jewish residents. That's me putting it mildly. If she felt like she wasn't seeing people often enough, she would begin to start sharing some of her worries. And when they all seemed like too much, I would point to one of the many pictures in her room of Sophia, her granddaughter, and I would ask Aimee, tell me about your granddaughter. And without fail, that would sort of turn it around for Aimee. Her face would light up at the thought of Sophia. And it didn't matter when they last saw each other or talked to each other. That sort of image, the vision, if you will, of her granddaughter, one of the most important people in her life, was what gave her the strength that she needed to continue through her difficult time. And it wasn't just Sophia. If you ever visited her, she had a really nice, prominent, big picture of a big family photo, and would love to share stories about all the people that are in her life. That was a source of strength for her. And so now today, as we say goodbye to Aimee, we know that we have our memories of her love, her dedication to her family, her very, very close friends, the values that she lived by. She was someone who worked hard, who was always learning. Aimee was dedicated to her Jewish learning. She became an adult bat mitzvah about 15-ish years ago. And her unwavering commitment, not just to the Jewish people, but to her community. Temple B'nai Torah was her Jewish community. And all of these images, these memories that we have about Aimee can give us the power to continue to shape our lives and for her to be a source of eternal blessing for us. Mourning is a time filled with many emotions and memories, both bitter and sweet. And we're going to begin our memorial service today with the recitation of some Jewish texts, starting with Psalm 23, linking Aimee's life with the millennia-old tradition of the people of Israel. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me lie down in green pastures, leads me beside still waters, and restores my soul. You lead me in right paths for the sake of your name. Even when I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You have set a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever. I'm going to invite up Cantor David, who's going to share another Jewish text to set to one of Debbie Friedman's melodies. Cantor David shared that Debbie Friedman was among Aimee's favorite that she loved among Jewish music. So I'll invite Cantor David up to share Nasim Shalom.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. The whole Cohen family and Sophia especially, to Marlena, Ben, it's an honor to be here today. I think she liked Debbie Friedman so much because Debbie had always a slightly different angle on things. And that was Aimee. As traditional as she was, she always had her own angle on things. Debbie wrote this words, Sim Shalom, make peace, but Debbie changed it to Nasim, let us make peace. Just changed one tiny little word, let us make peace. And so, in honor of her love of Debbie's music, I can see when she'd be sitting there in certain pieces, that smile would come to her. Nasim shalom tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Nasim shalom tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Let the light of your presence be the light of our lives. Grant us happiness, mercy, and peace. May the people of Israel join hands with the world and our passion for justice increase. Nasim shalom tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Let the light of your Torah be the light of our dreams. Grant us goodness, grant us blessings and love. May our yearning for peace be a blessing for the world. As the olive branch soars with the dove, Nasim shalom tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim.
I'd like to invite up Aimee's brother, Fred, to share a few words.
Good morning, shalom. I wanted to thank all of you for being here today to honor my sister. She would have been so very happy, surrounded by friends and family. Excuse me. I wanted to read something from Yehuda Bauer, who's a Holocaust scholar. In a eulogy he wrote about himself. I promise not to write another eulogy. And don't cry. Smile. It's best to smile, even to laugh, as long as you still can. So give it a try. Peace be among you. Thank you.
You can invite up Aimee's son, Ben.
So, just wanted to say a few words. Everyone here knew my mom. I grew up, and she was, it was a single family, or single parent household. My mom did everything she could to make sure things were taken care of. I know it was a lot of stress on her to take care of everything, but she still found her most time, and most important for her was her community. Both the local community, my friends, the Boy Scouts, and then B'nai Torah. And she would do anything for anyone in the synagogue or in her life that needed assistance. She would be there for them. The number of times I've heard over the past few days how much she's meant to people for what she did for them. It's something I will always keep with me. And I just feel honored that she was able to touch so many people, both those that are here and those that are watching. And I just, she meant a lot to so many people, and I'm so honored to be able to share this with you all. And thank you.
I invite Rabbi Morel now to share some words about Aimee.
Thank you, Rabbi Mullen. When I was at the Klein Gallon a few days ago, first thing I heard from Mr. Jeff Cohn, who's here today, our CEO, that Aimee had passed. And even though we had anticipated that day would come, it was still quite a shock. And of course, I reached out immediately to Ben and to Fred and to cousin Larry, and received response from each of them. Larry could not be here today, Larry Asher, but I said, Larry, we need to hear what you have to say. And he wrote a beautiful tribute. I'll find it right now. I beg your indulgence. Here's what he wrote. Thank you for the opportunity to share a few words at Aimee's service. Here's a thought or two I'd love for you to share. If it's too long, feel free to edit. I first met Aimee when we were little kids. Our mothers, mine was Sally, and hers was the whirlwind known as Cookie Cone. We're very close friends, and I believe succeeded one another as presidents of the Sisterhood of Temple de Hirsch in the 1950s. Since we both lived in North Seattle, the moms would take turns schlepping the kids to a religious school. And so my brothers Steve, of blessed memory, Fred, then known as Ricky, Aimee, and me were wedged into the back seat of our Chevrolet Bel Air, our Cookie space-age Mercury Montclair every Saturday. Since Aimee was both a girl and a couple of years older, we naturally never spoke or, God forbid, even touched. Even though Cookie and her husband Leonard had taken me and my brother into their home when our mother died, I still didn't have a very deep connection with Aimee. Then school, moving, marriages, children, jobs, and all the rest of life intervened, and it was years again before I regularly saw Aimee. For some reason, we reunited, sharing a Passover Seder at her home, and then seeing her at services right here at Temple B'nai Torah. It was around that time that her health began to decline. And so in the year 2012, she moved to Klein Galland. We would visit Aimee there, and it wasn't long after when I got involved in a committee of residents, relatives formed to look out for our loved ones' well-being. Aimee did not go out much at that time, but what I will always remember was bringing Aimee to the Yom Kippur Yizkor service right in this building. And as we wheeled her in, it was like a procession for a queen. So many people came up to greet her and hug her. You can plainly see that she had made herself an irreplaceable part of this community, but also of the lives of myself and Marcia. As I'm sure you all know, she had a wonderful wit, sense of humor, encyclopedic memory for genealogy and her family tree, and she never complained, well, maybe a little, about her illnesses or being confined at Klein Galland, but she was always happy and grateful to see you. A moment ago, I said she was an irreplaceable part of our lives, and that is surely the case. There will never be another like my cousin Aimee, and no one will ever replace all the joy she brought into our lives. Larry said it beautifully. She brought so much joy into our lives. And she was an amazing person. Whatever we did for her, and I see the Quinn family, Lori from the Klein Galland community, along with Jeff, whatever we did for her, she did so much more for us. Because she was an exemplary person who taught us so many lessons, but we learned that we had nothing to complain about compared to what she was going through. And there were so many times over the last 12 years, and even going back before to the place in Issaquah, where we felt that she couldn't live another week or month. But somehow she always came back. And inevitably we knew that the day would come, as it did. But I know Ben, Marlena, Sophia, Fred, and all of you love her. She will never be gone, because we'll always keep her in our hearts. I want to say a special word to Peggy, because Peggy was the one person who was always there. When, Ben, far away, Fred, far away, all of us try to be there as often as we can. Peggy was the constant presence. And that's such a beautiful thing, because you love her. You loved her. She loved you. Rabbi Mali was talking about the Torah portion, and Yosef, last portion, he was in the Beit HaSohar, in the prison, literally in the prison. And this Torah portion, miraculously, he is released from prison. And the life of our people changed. Well, sad to say, for the last many, many years, Aimee, her body was a prison. It was hard. Sometimes breathing, just literally breathing, was almost impossible. Sometimes moving was impossible. But I'll tell you something. If there was some activity, especially a Shabbat service at Klein Gallen, she would find, if at all possible, a way to be there. That's who she was. She didn't let that prison hold her back. But now she is released from that prison of physical ailment and challenges. And now she's a spirit that has gone to God, a neshama, and remains in our hearts. I know that each person here who had the privilege of knowing Aimee has become a better person because she was in our lives. And next year, when Sophia is called to the Torah to become a bat mitzvah, whether you can personally be there with her in person, but we also have this great world of the internet, we can be there vicariously. But the one person who's going to be there, I guarantee, standing right next to you, is your grandmother. Amy's going to be right next to you when you're called to the Torah. And you are surrounded by love today and every day, and you're so special. So let's all be grateful during this holiday of Hanukkah, because we talk about Al Hanisim, all the miracles, and believe me, I speak for myself, I speak for all of us. Aimee was a miracle. And may her memory always be a blessing. Amen.
I invite everybody to rise if you're able for the recitation of El Malei Rachamim, followed by Mourner's Kaddish.
El Malei Rachamim shochen v'amromim hamitzeh menucha nechona תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים ותוארים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. את נשמת מרים בת אריה, שלחה לעולמה. נתהם מנוחתה, ענה בעל הרחמים, אז תראה בסדר כנפיך לעולמים, ותצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה. אדוני ונחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר אמן.
God of abundant mercy, God most high, may the soul of our loved one who has gone into eternity find the gift of perfect peace in your embrace. Together with the holy and pure whose light shines like the radiance of heaven, compassionate God, hold her close to you forever so that her soul may be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May she find a home with you, and may she rest in peace. And together we say, Amen.
Amen.
We're going to join together in Mourner's Kaddish. There are little cards that were passed around if you'd like to join in with us. May the love and eternal connection of our souls give us strength as we turn to recite the words hallowed by time, Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Let's join together. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divrach kirotei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael, b'gala uv'yisman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekucha brichu. Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damira be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds. Grant comfort and consolation to all who mourn as we face our grief. Fill our lives with acts of loving kindness and truth, which serve as a genuine memorial to our dear Aimee. The deep bond of love will remain unbroken. We say together, Amen. May God console you and all of our mourners, and may we all go in peace. And I invite everyone, if you're able, to stay for a little reception. Thank you to our sisterhood for providing some cookies for us to nosh over, and I hope you'll continue to share some of those beautiful stories, memories that you have of Aimee, so that that's something that Ben and family can take with them today. Thank you for being here.